Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Barcast on video. My name is Marcos. I can be a bit of a prude. I am here with
Bearded Rob, and I'm a bit rude.
And
Cornelius, we the people dude.
Okay. And because he can't speak for himself, we're here with Jake, the dog dude.
From State Farm.
No.
No?
He doesn't, we don't represent anyone here.
He doesn't sell insurance.
He's just Jake the dog.
Okay, Jake.
Yeah.
Just Jake.
He doesn't sell anything. But if you are watching, you can tell that we have someone else here. We have Dianna Liebnitzky with us, who is running for seat 5 of Osceola County's commission.
Right on.
And
still refuse.
This is where we put in the clapping noise.
Yes, we have
still
to.
refuse.
Refuse to do what?
Pronounce it correctly.
What? Osceola, not Osceola. Osceola County
Just
Commission.
letting you know.
So, let's go ahead and get started. Dianna, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let's start there.
Well, I really appreciate being here today, guys. And this, if anybody has not had the opportunity to be here live with these folks, I got to tell you, they are a jamming crew. So I really appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
My background is I've been in healthcare basically my whole adult life. I look at everybody who's in need of something, not by how they're divided by any other factors. I think that Cornelius and I were kind of talking about it before the show started. I look at people by humans who are in need, and that's who I plan to represent. When the people elect and hire me, I am hired to represent and support them and to get them where they need to go. I am not empowered over them. I am there to bring them forward and to be what is called a servant leader and to move our community forward, and that is my goal.
Ooh. So do you still work in healthcare?
I certainly do.
Okay, do it. So, I'm sorry, what was your position in...
So for many years, I was the trauma director for one of the major level 1 trauma centers in Central Florida. And then I actually got to work for the state for a while to help the whole trauma system of the state of Florida, write the protocols, do all of the things that made the rules and the laws. At one point, I was also an adjunct professor at Valencia for the EMT and paramedic program, one of my favorite jobs because I really love mentoring the next generation, a phenomenal group, and I've gotten to see many of them still in action as they have actually come to themselves in their career, so it's wonderful. And I currently still work in healthcare. I actually look and help to support processes for insurance and to be sure that the patients in certain environments are getting the best care possible and defending that and making sure that we keep moving forward on both the actual day-to-day business, but I also continue to advise to the state legislature on specific policies and laws that 2 of which have become alive to continue to support our healthcare professionals as well as the people that we serve.
Okay, so you currently, and I'm assuming you've been there a while now. You live in St. Cloud.
Yes.
Okay.
32 years.
Long enough to run for office. What made
And
you...
her address is in St. Cloud?
Oh, that's apparently a big deal now.
Yeah, okay. Just ask.
I promise. Yes.
just asking before it gets snuck up on us. Or,
No.
Facts.
Now, what made you want to run?
It wasn't something I woke up one day and thought, hey, this is a fun thing to do, because I will tell you, for anybody who stands up to be a candidate, I've got to give them major kudos. You've got to have a really strong backbone. You will get, people will attack you for absolutely nothing and try and say different things about you that aren't true and all of that. You've got to learn truly and truly not to wear it. And that's one thing I advise people when they ask me, like, how do you deal with this? Don't wear it. Because, it's a tough situation. But why did I do it? Because I actually believe that without my name being attached, but to run, to serve in public office is part of a lifetime legacy, that you have to leave things better than you found it. I think the things right now going on in Osceola County, especially led by some of our upper level leaders, I'll kind of leave it at that, are really falling apart. There's things that are happening that are not in the best interest of our people, that Osceola is meant to be sort of, we'll call it like a bedroom community. We're not supposed to be a metropolis. We're not supposed to have this excessive, super highway sort of stuff trying to go through small neighborhoods. We're supposed to be a bedroom community like the suburbs where people come to live. It's not supposed to be overtaken. And all of the things that are going on, everything that the Board of County Commissioners over the years have promised the people is they're doing the polar opposite right now. And I plan to get in there. And there's 2 other seats also that are in the process, hopefully, of being turned over as well, so that we can get back to some of the truly the common sense, back to the core values of the people and the quality of life. Right now, there's no quality of life. Wait till you hear what's going on Monday, where they're trying to take roadways and go literally up to people's back door bedrooms. It's insanity, and we've got to stop it. And I'm not just talking traffic. Everybody can talk about the traffic. I'm talking about the pure quality of life and the respect for the people. I think that's one of the things that has honestly really bothered me when I've watched some of the commission meetings and other things, the absolute pure lack of respect for those who want to speak. If you come up and you want to speak with energy and passion, go for it, as long as you're not being threatening. You know, there is a kernel of truth in everything that someone wants to say. Every argument, every side, there's a kernel of truth. Let's work to find that and bring it together and make life better for everybody. That is the absolute truth. That's been my career.
So what if people disagree with what you just said? Correct me if I'm wrong. You were saying that, from what I gathered, you want to keep St. Cloud or Osceola County small, and you're speaking of the growth. I guess you don't agree with it. Is that what you're saying?
Not exactly.
Okay.
There's always going to be growth. Look at the Earth's population, et cetera. I'm
Sure.
not saying that I don't want other people to come here and live and to have, the things that I've had and my kids have had growing up. Not at all. But it's called intelligent design.
Okay.
I don't want to see them stripping the land bare and start, creating an asphalt jungle. I want to see them using intelligent design, tree buffers. Please don't go up to somebody's who bought a property and now you're going to build up, you're going to flood it down, you're going to build the road up to their bedroom window, those sort of things. I want to see intelligent design, think about what we're doing, be sure that we live up to the promises that we have done. That we have put in place, all of the surveys with the people. You can do intelligent design, build a community, bring in great, I like stores. I like to go shopping. I think I told one of you guys.
Sure.
But we have to have things done a certain way. You can't go tearing through a neighborhood. You can't tear people's homes down. You can't take away their property and say, oh, this is a great thing we're doing. There's ways to do it. And to listen to the people.
But what if people would disagree with you? Because there are a lot of cities, large as well as mid-major cities, I think they call them, that a lot of cities do that. That's not uncommon. That's been done for a very long time. And some people may argue that it serves a purpose when you talk about housing unsheltered people, low-income people, and things like that. So what would you say if they disagreed with you about that and they felt that it was necessary?
I say, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's necessary. Let's bring it to the table, have an open discussion. And I want to hear both sides. I want to hear everybody's thought. It's not my thought. My job is to serve the people. I want to have a very eclectic group of very verbal people, again, respectfully verbal, right?
Sure.
Who bring great ideas to the table. That's everything I've ever done. I have blended many, many ideas from opposite sides to create programs that have achieved excellence. That's what we need to do. There may be some high rises over here that work for some people and some, more rural properties over here, but we can figure this out. We're a large county. We can figure this out. We just have to figure out and listen to the people. They're not being listened to.
Definitely Osceola County is huge.
Huge.
We cover a lot of area.
I have the largest district.
And it's a really diverse district when you look at what you have, because you've got some very rural areas within in your district. And now with what they've done in downtown St. Cloud, which is nothing short of amazing, really, it's really a beautiful area.
Oh, yeah.
The growth is interesting there. But we do live in one of the fastest growing counties in the United States.
Yep.
And we do have one of the highest number of critically homeless people in the United States as well.
True.
And nothing's being done to fix that problem. I mean, if you look around Central Florida at what there is for homeless people, there are services for women and children.
Facts.
There are no services for homeless men.
Facts.
Now,
How do we start to solve some of these issues?
before we get that, because on my back burner, I also have the bringing development to your back door.
Uh-huh.
I kind of wanted to start off by going specifically into
See how he does that.
what?
Facts.
We agreed on this beforehand that we were going to talk about her background
Go
of
for
her
it.
as an individual first.
Do what you want to do.
I know you're very excited to just like
I'm not
you guys are
excited.
excited to just pounce on her. Jeez.
No, we're not pouncing. We're respectful.
Deanna,
Yes.
do you have children?
I do. I do. Well, first of all, I have my husband, Wayne, who we will be married 40 years September 1st. Hey,
Wayne.
you know, the guy should get a medal, don't you all think? Seriously.
Oh, shout out to Wayne.
Wayne's in the audience. Wayne, do you agree that this has been good so far?
He's committed.
Great. Yeah, he said great. There you go.
Remember, you fall asleep before me, buddy.
That's right.
He's committed. Take that as you
He
want.
should be. He should be.
Take that as you want.
No, he's one of the most amazing men that I know. I'm very, very grateful for the life that so far that I've got to spend with him. So
do.
next time you send me a happy 50th anniversary card, just so I have it in advance, we're going to have a much more serious talk.
50th anniversary? I thought
No.
you said it was.
No, he sent it in
He
advance.
sent it in advance.
I got that. Listen to what she said.
You can't forget if it's already been sent.
No, he's like, just in case. I'm like, do
There you
not do that to me.
I like it. Okay. All right.
No, but he's an incredible man in every way. You know, when I decided to marry him way back in the day, I knew that this was the man that no matter what it took to continue to work, to do what he had to do, to make sure that, you know, we could eat, have a home, you know, do all those things to be a great father. And I got to tell you, he is one of the best fathers. You can call either of my daughters right now, and they would say he is the best father in the whole world, and just tremendous. And he's very loved by the community. There are so many kids that grew up because he was their softball coach. He even built a softball field in our back property because nobody would let the girls play back in the day. And all the things he's done. These are young women that, you know, will still see him in the store and introduce their kids to him and everything. And he's just an incredible person. And I'm very, very grateful, like I said, for my life with him. And you need to keep that recording, honey, because you might need to use it against me someday.
So,
It's for sale.
we should.
We
Wayne,
should.
30 cents a minute. We're going to start there. Hey, you can always save this in the future.
Let the bidding begin.
Begin.
But it sounds like you've been here a long time. Your
Yeah.
roots are here.
Yes.
You are obviously involved in the community. What other things do you do besides run for politics and obviously run within the medical field?
She can't tell you that. She'd have to kill you.
No, actually, well, let me tell you about my two daughters first,
There you
real
go.
quick, because they're pretty amazing. So, my youngest daughter actually
Save this for when your mom gets angry at you.
My youngest daughter actually works up in Alexandria. She is an environmental engineer. She's absolutely phenomenal. I just think she's one of the sweetest people that I know. She's the most can find the intellect in any conversation. Sometimes she tries to guide me a little too, like, you need to do this, Mom, but, you know, that's all good. It means she loves me and wants the best for me. My older daughter actually is a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. I'm extraordinarily proud of her as well. She went to the Air Force Academy. She was the first direct cadet from the St. Cloud School District of all of Osceola to have a direct appointment to the Air Force Academy. So that's a really big deal. Like I said, now she's a lieutenant colonel, does a lot of great work, and I'm so proud of her. And my son-in-law also is a lieutenant colonel. And my granddaughter is 4 years old, and she's very cute and very spicy. And so she's. I can't wait to see her again real soon. They all live up in the Virginia area now. So.
I don't.
But yeah, so my fun groove is I actually teach painting as my fun side job. I'm a Bob Ross certified instructor. You guys know what Bob Ross is?
We know
Yes,
Bob Ross.
We
everyone knows
love Bob Ross.
He was Bob Ross for Halloween one year.
Yes,
Stop
I was
it.
Bob Ross. I was Bobby Rose.
So is that where is that where the hair went to, Marcos?
Yeah. So
No, he bought a wig.
after
He's
that,
been bald for a long time.
Long time.
Long
I have a
time.
question.
you guys
though.
don't have to make me feel bad about it.
No, you guys. That was him. But listen, so we had on Kobe before. from
Wait.
St. Cloud.
Oh, I thought you said Kobe. I was like, wait, when did we have
Wait, is that? I'm sorry if you watch this. Is that his name? Kobe.
Kobe Urban?
Yeah.
Urban. Kobe Urban.
Oh, yeah.
From St. Cloud.
Yes.
Right. So is that who you're running against?
No,
No.
different race.
Kobe's already won his race, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's the
yeah.
city. That's the
Yeah.
city of.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking about
Yeah,
that.
Kobe
Okay,
was
okay.
running for city council.
Okay.
No
Shout
one
out to
ran
Kobe,
against.
by the
yeah.
way.
No
Kobe.
one ran against him, so he just
Okay, right on.
just won.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a cool cat. Shout out to Kobe, man. A good brother. I was just curious. Okay.
Nope.
No, this is the it's the race for seat 5.
Seat 5, County
County.
Commission.
County.
Yep.
Okay.
County
All right.
Commission.
For the people
Yeah.
out there watching and
Stuff
listening,
coming up in
who
August.
didn't know, because I knew, I was just throwing that in there to help out.
Well, no, that's something that isn't part of her platform. That's
do.
very true to talk about.
Absolutely.
Her race is actually going to be decided August 20th.
August 20th. So vote early or vote by mail. I don't care. Just be sure you vote.
Yep.
And this is all parties get to vote for this, regardless of your party affiliation. It's what's called a universal election for this one particular seat. This is the first time in many, many years that everyone has had the ability to vote for this seat at the very first election or in the primary season. And so it will be decided August 20th. And this is one of the most important times that we have. Everybody's got to vote. A lot of people kind of say, oh, I don't need to vote in the primary. You have to vote every election because there's always something, whether it's a primary or the general, that there's even other things that are on the ballot that if you don't vote, you miss out the opportunity. The other thing for that also is this is a time that is so important that your voice is heard. There are so many things behind the scenes that are going against transparency and truth that if you don't vote and start flipping these seats and get true people in there that are policy background, I assure you, you can look at my resume, my history. I'm happy to talk to you. Ask me the hard questions. These people don't understand what they're doing and how it impacts you forever. And P.S., you should not become a millionaire when you've been in public service. And this is a public service role. You should not end up as a millionaire because guess what? If you did, you've been bought and paid for. Look at people's financial statements. That will not be on mine. There's not that many zeros.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I would just going off of what you were saying, I would, I think that now is a more important time to vote. Locally, this is where change happens. Federally, we're not changing anything. I mean, nothing that happens there
Facts.
affects us down here. They do what they do. It is what it is. But this is where we can fix stuff, right? Act local.
This is your quality of life. This is your day-to-day.
This is where we can fix something.
So
Vote now.
Go ahead.
You say policy background.
Mm-hmm.
So you believe that people who are running for these offices should have that background of making policies.
I think that they should have the background at least of being in business and having some type of responsibilities. And diverse backgrounds is great. I'm not saying exactly the same, but to have some type of role where they had to be in some type of a leadership role, or there are people who are truly natural leaders. And I always say when I work with large groups, the person standing at the podium is not always the leader. Sometimes it's the person out there in the
Sure.
middle of the pack. They're the stronger leader. Think about some bad workforces you've been in.
Sure.
But it's all about people who are willing to serve and lead. It's a very big seesaw you on when you're a leader, but you're serving because you're constantly rebalancing that.
Well, I disagree a little bit on that one because when you talk about people who have been put in positions to lead and things like that, not everyone has the same opportunities. So I do disagree with you on that. People should be allowed to run
Sure.
and let their talents, despite opportunities, shine. So, but I'm with you to I mean, if you have experience doing policies and things like that, that's great. But I don't think policies, for example, in healthcare have anything to do with the law. The law is what it is. Everyone has access to it, and we have to abide by it when we're making policies and things like that. So what would you say to someone who totally feels that that's a total point that has nothing to do with anything, what would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I did say to you that sometimes it's not the person at the podium, the person who got that so-called opportunity to stand up there and be hired as a quote-unquote leader. It's the person sometimes in the middle of the pack that is your strongest person, that community person. And that's one of the things that I want to do with my role also, is help to mentor other people to do, like, follow me, come with me, come to work with me. We're going to do a day in the life. We're going to do job shadowing. We're going to give you opportunities and other roles to kind of see how different things work. Where do your talents fit? Sure. I've always been about mentoring younger people, and not just younger people, just people who are coming in from different phases of life. And if you don't think healthcare is about policy, oh my gosh, think
That's
again.
all
It's
it
about
is.
insurance. It's about
Sure.
who has the right access. Does everybody have access? It's all about policy. It's a very, very strong process. But in leadership, like I said, is not the person who you get the sticker or the badge. It's that person who comes from the middle, who comes forward. I'm coming from the middle. I'm coming forward because I'm going to stand up for my community and fight for them.
Right on.
Yeah, that I don't think she's saying that the boss always has to be the person to run for office.
No.
It could be someone
I don't think
underneath.
that's what his
yeah.
question was.
Right. I'm sitting here wondering, like,
go-
where,
I don't think
where
that's
you're
what his
coming
No,
from.
because it sounded like you were kind of saying that you have to have some sort of actual resume line saying that you led a team at one point or another.
No.
Okay, so I could be wrong.
That's okay. But I appreciate that, though. But no, I was just asking her a question because, for me, I love to post questions, right? That
We know.
He doesn't know what he asked sometimes.
That's only sometimes, sir, okay?
I said sometimes.
Thank you.
I think he's very insightful. I love the questions.
Well, I appreciate that. I have other questions, too, from your website as well that I'll ask you. I think the show director
We're getting there, guys.
says in the second
you guys
half.
are way too excited to just go
Thank
after
you
her.
all for
He likes
staying
to
with
show-
us right now.
He likes to show off that he can read.
Well, okay.
Who, me?
Okay.
I can barely read, sir, okay? What are
This
you
is-
talking about?
Maybe this is a good opportunity to ask more questions. Deanna, when you vote for individuals, how often do you actually know the personal background of the individual? And do you think that that's something that's important?
For me, it is. I try really hard for, I'm not saying when I'm in my 20s
Bad
that I
question.
necessarily look that deep into it. I'll be very honest. It's something that as I've grown up through my life and I've understood how those people in those positions have affected me financially, personally, all of the different things like that I've learned. Unfortunately, you kind of learn the hard way. I love, especially when the younger people are asking the questions like Cornelius and going deep and, saying, but all of the what ifs and the whys. That's the most important thing you can do is ask the why. And that's probably especially when I teach and stuff, I'm always telling my students, always ask the why, never accept what I say, ask me why.
Yes.
Right,
And
right,
that is
right.
a very important thing.
For sure.
No, I agree. The policy side of things is very important, but for individuals that haven't been in office, you can't go on necessarily policy because they haven't implemented any.
Well, but this is one of the hard things about local politics is
Exactly,
it's really
yes.
difficult to know
Gauge what someone's gonna do.
who these people are. It's hard to find out.
But I think
But we're here trying.
We're the only ones here.
We
Facts.
are. We're trying to let you know about
scratch
people.
it, Jake. Scratch
Jake
it,
is
man.
here.
Come
He has
on,
a
Jake.
question.
Come on, Jake. Yeah, we on video, baby. Scratch it up,
Jake's
Jake.
like,
He
vote
got
Diana.
Jake got too close to Cornelius.
I want to interject one thing on policy, guys, just so that I kind of make that clear. I'm not saying, okay, I have a degree in policy. Okay, yay for me. That's because I worked really hard. I earned that through a long, long life of like hard knocks and getting stuff done and putting stuff together and learning myself. I really think you need to have people who come in who really understand how to put stuff together, how to measure things by metrics. Otherwise, you'll have a group up there that go to lunch together, come back, it's time to vote. Everybody likes each other, so they raise their hand and say, yes, that sounds really good, and off they go. That is not what we're going to be about. We are going to ask the hard questions, the deep questions of whys, what fors, how much, and by when.
So you feel that's what's going on now?
That there's not a how much and by when sort of conversation?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. There you go. I like it. And we got to wait to get into the 6 minutes to get into the questions.
First of all, you can stop timing me.
No, listen. You listen. I don't know if you've heard. Anyway.
Cornelius is kind of anal. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I just-
if you put a lump of coal in his ass, it'd be a diamond in the morning.
Fantastic.
Put it in
I apologize
another
for that.
ring.
Are you guys going to torture me in 6 minutes? Like, what's happening?
No.
I don't know what he has planned for 6
We go on
minutes.
break in 6 minutes, and then we
okay.
start the policy side of it.
Okay.
The first half, like I mentioned earlier, was more to just get to know
Get
you
to know
as an
you.
individual.
Okay, so here we go. Ready? All right, we're gonna call this "Get to Know You."
Okay. So far, let me ask you guys a question.
I try-
Yes.
Do you think, okay, so my mantra has been prepared. Okay, so generally, maybe we say kind of, okay, maybe a halfway ticket for you all, especially Cornelius. Passionate, do you think I'm passionate? Am I answering your question strong? Pretty good so far. And fearless. Anybody here think I'm afraid of them or any question that you have to ask me?
So, based on what we've heard
No,
now,
to answer your question, because he just went on.
Well, no, I can't answer that yet, but that I will be able to answer.
Okay.
Good point.
Yeah.
Very good point.
Good deal.
I mean,
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Good deal. And I appreciate all the questions. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today, guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, can I finish?
Shut up.
Oops, sorry.
I try. Come on. Get to know you. A series of very simple questions for the people listening and watching to get.
He wants to know your favorite color and your shoe size.
Very important. Well, the shoe size.
Oh,
maybe
no,
not.
no. For him, he likes shoes, remember?
Gosh.
I don't tell you about it. All right, here we go. Question 1. What is your favorite movie?
You know, I think that kind of like over time changes a little bit. I think right now, if I had to say, if you could go home, spend a couple of hours sitting still, just watching your favorite movie, it would be Eat, Pray, Love.
Eat, Pray, Love. Mm-hmm. Okay. think
I
I've
love
heard that.
Italy
Okay.
too, and you know I got to go there at one time and actually be a guest speaker at a very interesting trauma conference.
Oh.
And I love everything about the people there. They're extraordinarily gracious, and I just think the movie was well filmed. And it's just a fun
Fair.
movie and a lot of happiness at the end. It really
Fair.
ends well.
All right. What is your favorite book or the last book you've read? However you want to go with that one.
That's a sad question because I read I read technical books.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Get to
This
know
is
you.
all about like insurance and healthcare policy. I'm so boring. I'm very sorry. I listen to a lot of books, so let's maybe go there. I have there's like this very British lady who writes these wonderful by Sophie Kinsella. A lot of her books, I always like look for the next one. And when I'm driving and stuff, or even sometimes when I'm doing like technical writing, I'm listening on my headset. And I love her voice. And she's always doing something really funny and crazy. And one of the great things about her is she never takes herself too seriously, which I think is an important life lesson. And, you know, she gets in some tangles, and then life just always works out because she doesn't dwell on it too long. She remembers that the bad stuff is not the forever stuff, and she has the ability to change it. And I just love those books.
Fair enough. What is your favorite dish to cook?
Oh, boy. What's my favorite dish, honey?
Rob is making faces. These are very important
No,
questions.
I'm laughing. I'm not, it's all.
Rob's got my back.
And Wayne's like, you already know the answer to this.
Actually, I have a favorite dish because it means more than just like what I cook. I love to make lasagna. And I think I
Yes.
told you guys when I was the adjunct professor for Valencia for the EMT and paramedic program, our EMTs are generally pretty young. And because they're kind of like starting their career. Some of the people in there were already working like second jobs and all this. And a lot of times the class I had was at night. And these, I say kids, they're not kids, these young people
Right.
came to class and, you know, we'd be talking and a lot of PowerPoints and all this information you have to share. And you
Right.
could tell you're losing them really quick.
Right.
And I would just we would team teach. It was myself, another professor, and I did a lot of the simulation training and things like that and the mass disaster stuff. And I just sit back there and I'd watch them kind of phase out on me. And I thought, okay, I know I kind of
Lasagna.
feel that way too, but I'm watching them. So I would go and sit next to different ones, or when we were doing our simulation parts of the lab, I'd talk to them. I hear they're working 2 jobs, they have kids at home. I say, why do you want to do this? Are you crazy? Why do you want to be an EMT, a firefighter, et cetera? And they tell me kind of their stuff. And then I'd start watching them, and then they'd go for a break and they'd come back and they'd be eating, you know, junk food and stuff. And here I am.
Lasagna.
I suddenly become the mom.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I decided
yeah.
I was going to do an experiment. So lasagna is a big, easy meal to make. So
Yep.
I'd make all these lasagnas. I bring them to class before they came. I tell them, you better be on time. You better be 15 minutes early. I got a surprise for you. They would come in. It would be demolished in like 15 minutes. My kids, or my young people, never went to sleep in class again.
Never.
They were totally with the program, and I am very happy to say each and every one of them met all of the national things that they needed to make, and all went into the field to do great things, and I'm very proud for them. But you got to feed the young people. You lose them if you
That's
don't.
very interesting, though, that you were able to recognize the need and you met it. And it was a very simple need,
I'm just
too.
annoyed now that
That's my job. That's
She
what I
didn't bring
wanted
us
to
any
do.
lasagna.
No, where were you? No, where were you when I was studying? Nobody bought me no damn lasagna.
But I
I would
couldn't.
have loved some lasagna.
I had some cool college professors, though. Like, we would do, like, fried green tomatoes. I said,
Yeah.
I used to drive from Kissimmee to UCF during rush hour traffic, get to 15 minutes late to class every day.
Yeah.
Not one lasagna.
Not one.
See,
Damn.
I went
Hey,
to college in North
I'm a
Dakota. You
UCF
don't know.
alumni. Those professors are amazing. Just
They
saying.
are. Oh,
They
here we go.
are
Oh,
great. They
here
were
we go.
great.
Let's keep it on track. A few more questions. Get to know you.
Okay.
You scare me.
What is your favorite sport?
If I'd have to say, I'd guess football.
Softball, because your daughters played it, right?
Good point.
Yeah.
Why are we talking? Get
I don't
to know
know.
you.
Like, there's so many different sports. I'm pretty diverse. I was a pretty diverse athlete in high school. I was
okay.
a state champion in track hurdles.
Oh.
What event?
Hurdles and the 440 relay was like always we always won state championships. So hey,
You just won Rob.
He's like a track professional
I ran.
champion.
I ran.
awesome. What
Yeah.
did you run?
In college, I ran the steeplechase in the 5,000.
Wow. And Wayne was a long distance runner at Troy State. So
Troy. Shout out to Troy, Alabama. Where you from? Right here. Okay, you went to Troy. Right on, yeah.
before he joined the Navy. So, but
Right
as far
on.
as favorite sport, I'm sorry, that's
Just
a hard one.
But you have to pick one.
Okay, all
There's
right.
a proverbial gun to your head.
Okay, hold on. Let me think.
You
real
have to
quick.
pick one. You have to. Because we're getting to know
Yeah,
you.
I guess football.
Football,
To
okay.
watch football.
Okay, right on, right on.
I'm not going to go out there and be the center of the quarterback or anything, but yeah.
But with that, we've reached the midpoint of our show.
Uh-oh.
Don't
Yes.
look at your clock. I know.
Actually, we're 2 minutes over, sir. But okay.
We will be right back
Lump of coal.
after
done.
these. Please listen to our sponsors, and we will be right back after these messages.
Peace.
And we are back. We took a quick break.
Quick,
We got some drinks real quick.
Facts.
quick.
What?
Nothing.
They don't know how long we were gone for.
I'm just saying quick. That's all I said.
They saw us away from the microphone for half a second.
True.
Where are you going with this?
Right.
Where are you
I
guys
said
going? Why are you
quick.
arguing with me?
I said quick. That's all I
I said quick, and you guys just
You got defensive.
There was
You
a
got
question
crazy.
mark behind that quick.
Right. You got all defensive.
Right.
Fine, whatever.
Take two.
So now we get to the good part,
Because the other part wasn't good? I'm confused.
the gooder part.
Better.
Perfect.
Better
the
part.
gooder
Gooder part. Now we get into the actual politics of District 5 in Osceola County.
Facts.
I'm gonna let you start off, Deanna. Is there a specific policy point you want to get across before we start bombarding you with questions?
Wow.
I think kind of bouncing off of what Cornelius was asking me for about the word policy and what that really means and how you have to be able to develop things that are meaningful and measurable. That's one thing. But I know a lot of people have asked me, like, what is the very first thing that you're going to do? You know, what is on your list? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a very, vertical list, top to bottom. There is no such thing on my list. It's like a giant tabletop. It crosses multiple entities and issues. It's very vertical in nature because there's so much that needs to be done, so many resources that need to be evaluated and brought to the citizens, and so many different people's voices that need to be heard that have not yet been heard. We're so focused on certain things that are making certain people a lot of money, and it's causing the nature of the quality of life to falter. And those are some of the things, but it's not the one thing. It's a multitude of lifestyles that we need to blend together. And that's really what my quote unquote policy process will be, is to bring the people's voices together.
Okay, that's very broad.
It's broad.
Very broad. So I think this is where we come in and we kind of nitpick and break things down.
Go for it.
You had something that you wanted to talk about earlier about the homeless situation.
I
Yeah.
did ask about that, yeah.
Go for it.
You know, we live in one of the largest, fastest, a very large county. We cover a lot of area, and our population in Osceola County is one of the fastest growing counties in the United States right now. But we also have one of the largest populations of critically homeless people in the country as well. And one of the things that we notice if you start to look into this is that while limited, there are resources for women and children. There's never a resource for homeless men. You know, this is one of the problems that we have here. What do we do to help these people and to alleviate this strain? Because it is a strain on the economy, and it is something that we could do to try and there's an ability to reach out and redirect and to start to turn people towards a direction that makes them not just more productive, but proud of themselves as well. You know, more creative.
I really appreciate the question. That's actually something that long ago I was working on, even when I lived in Miami, and went very often to downtown Miami in the middle of the night with, back in the day when HIV was first starting, and trying to feed some of the homeless. And most of them, you're correct, are men. There were some women. That whole scenario of drug addiction, mental health issues, that is a big issue for me. It's been a lifelong issue, having had family members with addiction issues and so forth, trying to, kind of save them from themselves. And working in healthcare, I can tell you that you're absolutely spot on regarding especially the men sheltering after hours, after 5, if we were discharging someone from the hospital. Most of the time, the shelter had already been full. A lot of times they were going back to Orange County, and I got to tell you, those people up there do some tremendous work. They really do. I want to acknowledge the work that they do. It is quite phenomenal. And the women are a little bit easier to kind of find housing for, and even some more rehabilitation services. The men are a lot more challenging. Just in general, I'm saying this. I'm not, making an absolute line in the sand between men and women, but in a general statement. It's very hard for the men because many of them, especially veterans, I found, do not want to live inside. We found many times resources for them, housing, etc., and they don't, many of them don't flourish under those settings. I worked with people before. We were talking about one of these centered villages, the tiny home sort of thing, bringing people together in a sort of situation where they would have to have rules. They'd have to follow the rules to stay there and that sort of thing, so it didn't become just, an out-of-control element. But it's very, very tough situation to get them on the same page. My question is, have we ever asked them what they need, what they want? I had one gentleman not too long ago, a gentleman who we were releasing, quote unquote, back to the streets because there was no resource for him. He didn't want to go to a resource. And, some of the nurses were like, let's quick collect some money. Let's make sure he gets dinner. Let's, do all these things. And he actually called me into his room and he said to me, let me tell you something. You guys are really good people, but I want you to be cautious because he goes, I've got more in my bank account right now than you do. And I kind of to myself, kind of smiled at that. And I thought, well, that's great. How else can I help you to get where you need to go? And he goes, no, I'm serious. I have more in my bank account than you do. He pulled out his bank receipt and showed me. I go, yes, sir, you most certainly do. But, what else can we help you with? I'm glad you have that resource. What can we do for he goes, you need to understand something. I don't want to live in a place. I want to be free. I want to go where I want to go. I want to do what I want to do. And these are the things. Do I believe that's everyone? No. Do I believe it's sad? Yes. And do I also know for a fact that other counties, catch this one, send some of their homeless people to us so that they don't have to deal with them. They just kind of keep shipping them on down the road. Other states do it.
Absolutely.
They land at MCO, the airport. They're made to live in the airport. They get kind of pushed on down the road. And I do know for a fact that there's other entities that actually give them train tickets and stuff to keep pushing them south.
Oh, no.
So
yeah.
when have we ever asked them what they really need?
No, absolutely. There's a large homeless community inside the Orlando airport. If you ever spend any time there at night, you'll find them. There's up and down 192, and sadly, our Supreme Court just made it a crime to sleep outside. It's now a crime to be poor. So,
When you say our Supreme Court, federal or state?
federal.
Okay.
Federal did that, yeah. So,
Now, okay, so this issue exists.
yeah. But I like the
What-
fact that you say you got to ask them what they want, because that's something that nobody takes the time to do.
We're giving it, but we're not asking.
Well, nobody says, this might not help you. If this isn't what you want, it's not going to help you.
Well, no, obviously, if someone wants to be outside, and
you have to meet people where they are.
I completely understand why someone would want to sleep under the stars every night, be out in the wilderness. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I don't call myself the prude of this group for no reason. I need my air conditioning. I need my running water.
You're a bitch.
I could not be homeless. I would be the first person to looking for every single resource that I could get to get out of homelessness.
Robin Williams' movie that's really cool on this issue, The Fisher King,
I haven't watched it.
deals with a guy who just really is very happy with where he is and how he is. Yeah.
There's also another part of homelessness that I really think that everybody should be aware of, especially as we go into an extraordinarily uncertain economic times in our near future, regardless of the whole presidential campaign and stuff. There will be a lot of people that could suddenly become homeless, men, women, etc., by no fault of their own, who do not want to be on the street. So what are we going to do? How do we build those resources to strengthen them? Because they want to work. They want to be strong.
Well, on those lines, the last number that I read is that the average American is 3 paychecks away from homelessness.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take much for us to
I'm
be
not
out
even
there.
sure if it's that many.
Probably less than that.
For a lot of people, probably a lot less than that.
Yeah.
But when you consider everybody, in
Right.
the average,
So-
but maybe, and again, these are the last numbers I read. So,
Right.
So I guess the question is, what can a county commissioner do to possibly circumvent, avoid, possibly help at least 1 or 2 people not get to that point?
Well, I think it's a county commissioner's job to continually look for resources, not just, county money, but, acclimate and help to build bridges with state and federal funding to assist with those things, to be creative, to try to find out answers beyond the obvious. I'm so tired of people, like you said, you're going to take this. This is the house we're going to give you. This is the thing we're going to give you. And it's not that. I also go on to, mental health is a big issue. I've always dealt with Baker Act patients, finding them resources, drug addiction. And let's be honest, guys, most people who have, when I say drug, I mean drug, alcohol, et cetera, when they have those medicinal type addictions, trust me, they do not get rehabilitated until they are ready to get rehabilitated. This has been a lifelong journey, I promise you, for people very close to me. And
you
It
don't
doesn't
you don't have a
exist.
problem until you admit you have a problem.
exactly.
You have to decide that you have a problem. I can't tell you
And
have
it's
one.
not fixed in a day.
No, not at all. Absolutely.
Cornelius looks like he wants to ask something.
Yeah. I just, the comment about the men doesn't sit well with me.
Okay.
Only because when I was in college, I worked at a homeless shelter. I had a great opportunity. It was a men's shelter. And so from my experience, I just don't agree. I don't think that's true at all. That's one example of someone who wants to live outside, but most men don't.
No,
I think her comment wasn't that most want to. I think
No.
that was
Well-
I think most people want a place to be.
I understand that, but, and I'm not attacking you or knocking you, but I just want to make sure it's clear because I felt like that was just kind of glossed over. And I personally didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable with it because when we talk about women and children, we want to give them the utmost sensitivity of what they're going through. And I know for a fact, most men don't. I met older men, and it's younger men, white, black, and it's different people, some disabilities like she spoke about, yes. One thing that I found so interesting was the lives that people lived before they came there.
very much.
Absolutely.
That was the most interesting thing to me. So again, I'm not trying to push against you. I guess just the way the whole dialogue just went, it did make me a little bit uncomfortable.
Okay, let me add to that if I may. So, in due respect to the men who are in the homeless shelter, the people who are in the homeless shelter, they get to be there. They're choosing to, in some ways, they're choosing to come to seek that. They've got their resource. They got connected with you guys. You know, they kind of are like have that connection. There are many that either refuse to make that connection, don't want to make that connection. Different things happen. I think that there is no right answer. That's kind of really where I was going. There's so many segments to that piece. That's why I said, have we asked them what they want?
And that's a great point. I hear what you said. A lot of people echo that they don't want it. My only question would be to those people, and even you yourself, how many people have you or they, right, asked that they don't want it? Because it's so easy to say a lot of people don't want it, but how many people have you sat down and talked to? Not you personally. I'm saying in general.
No.
That you sat down and talked to, because I can tell you the truth. I mean, I live a pretty good life, and I'm very fortunate and blessed to live it. And interacting with these people since college even to now, I can tell you, I can count on one hand the people who say that they want this.
That's their choice, and this is what they prefer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I
Very
agree with you.
small group of people.
I agree
So
with you.
And again, I'm not you, anyone who I'm having this conversation with, be very careful in the words that we use and saying, well, people choose, some choose, not many choose
handful.
this.
A handful.
Sure, like a very small, like the wealthiest people, right? That's a very small minority. I think the people who choose this too, and it was just,
I also think that using an example of a guy who has a crazy fucking bank account
sure,
for our example of what somebody wants.
right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
not the norm.
Yeah, no,
That's
not at
not
all.
the norm.
Not at
I
all.
agree.
Yeah.
Not at all. I was
agree.
just trying to give you guys, like we were trying to put all of this sort of package of care per se for this gentleman. And, you know, he's the one who came to us and said, look, I know you guys work so hard on this. And when you ask how many people have I sat down and talked to,
Sure.
numerous. I've been a nurse for like 40 years.
Sure.
I've been in trauma. That's a chunk of our population.
Sure.
I've worked in roles that my job was to find them resources after they left the facility. I've been involved on the ground with programs, and recidivism is a massive issue. Unfortunately, you can get somebody somewhere and get them a job, do all of these different
Sure.
things, and then you're driving down the street and there they are again. There's a lot to that. Mental health is a big issue. So that's all I'm saying is there's lots of pieces to. There's not a direct
Right.
answer.
No, it's an issue that has
Many layers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's it's an onion.
Oh, absolutely.
To use Shrek,
Absolutely.
right? It's
Yeah.
an onion. It's an onion, man. It's
Right.
an onion.
But a very important topic.
Yeah,
Very,
no,
very
it's
important.
I think it's a major topic.
And shame on the
Here.
people, and shame on whichever council, which
Who's he shaming? Why are you shaming people?
he does.
let
this
me
is
finish.
his thing.
That's right. Shame on you.
He casts his finger at the world.
Those signs that
Got him a
say
big bell.
the signs that say. So you didn't let me finish. The signs that say it's okay to say no to panhandling. Shame on the people who voted to spend our tax dollars for that nonsense.
Putting up the sign.
But we'll continue. Go ahead.
gonna take this in another direction now.
Fair.
Ricky, we haven't mentioned his name yet.
Uh-oh.
But Ricky Booth is your competitor. He is currently the incumbent. He was formerly the school board member.
Are you ever not currently an incumbent? Just curious.
Facts.
When
I mean, if you're an
no-
incumbent, you're currently the incumbent, right?
Yeah.
No, Trump's not an incumbent.
Yeah,
No.
he was a former incumbent. No, but you're
but he's not the incumbent.
Right, exactly.
You have, if you're an incumbent, you have
You are
to
there now.
You
Currently
it's
being-
current.
point. Okay.
Double negative.
Just
So,
gotta
so
throw that at
Ricky
you.
Booth is the incumbent.
That was redundant.
He, God damn it, he is a former school board. Before he became commissioner, he was a school board member for, I can't remember how many years. I want to say what, two to three terms. 2 terms.
Okay, come on, get on with
Two-
it.
Wayne is telling me 2.5, so I'm going to go with that.
Fair.
Groovy.
2.5. So I'm assuming he dropped out halfway through his 3rd term to run for county commission. So he has so much experience.
Well,
Now-
now the question though is, so he was looking at school board as a stepping stone.
I am not going
Your
to speak to
children's
what.
education was a stepping
I'm
stone.
not gonna
to
speak to
something
what Ricky
bigger.
was doing.
I'm just asking
Wow.
these things. I just
Wow.
If Ricky
I
would
just
like to
asked
come on
these
and let
things.
us know what the purpose of him being in school board and dropping out halfway through
Wow.
his 3rd term is, he can come on here and say that.
Did you? Oh,
Yes.
Whoa.
Somebody
What?
knows.
Oh.
Hey, Marcos, thanks for that question. So I have offered to debate Ricky anytime, anywhere, any day. He continues to ignore the invitation. He even recently said to someone who called him specifically that we never reached out to him or offered him to debate. The problem is he doesn't believe in truth and transparency. I'll
Whoa.
answer any question any day. Give me the hard stuff and let's go. So come on down, Ricky. We are ready to debate you, buddy.
All right. Speaking of the hard stuff, here we go. I have a question.
Right here, brother.
Speaking of the hard
Bob is
stuff,
scaring me. I just want to make that clear.
everybody's scaring you today. Come on.
No.
I thought you were fearless.
No, I am
thought you
fearless.
were fearless.
You better believe it.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Why are you
from
afraid of Santa Claus?
facts.
Well, there's a whole Santa Claus story, which is not pretty, but let's move on.
Right. So this is from Dianna, the number 4fl.com, correct? Is
Yes.
that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Facts. All right. So I'm going to read
Because he
bit-
can read.
Was my grammar okay, though? I just want to do a quick check.
we're about to find out.
No. Are you reading from my letter to the constituency, to my citizens?
What's in blue? Is that
Okay.
a letter? Is that a letter?
Yes, it's,
okay,
it's like
fair.
me talking to them.
Fair. Okay, fair. All right on. I am fearless and cannot be manipulated by groups that seek to profit on the back, which should be, I think, backs of our citizens, and will never surrender my integrity to be entangled in promises to big campaign contributors that do not embrace the common goals of our people and the best interests of Osceola, which I believe is Osceola County. Without integrity, we are nothing. Without truth and transparency, we are nothing. Would you like to tell the people, because I want to know, who are these groups that seek to profit off the backs of citizens?
Man, what a great writer. Boy, thanks for reading that.
Facts. No, it was written well.
I
He
know.
just wants you to know he can read.
I know, it's fabulous. So I ran a campaign before, and I had several very big donors who came to me and offered to totally fund my campaign.
Okay.
And for a lot of money. In fact, I was offered from someone who someday I'm going to be writing a book, and you'll know their name in the book, so I will not
Okay.
be fearless.
Okay.
They're actually running for another seat right now, who offered me a lot of money to drop out of a campaign, and in front of a whole bunch of people too. It was really great because he was at a women's lawyers meeting.
Can you
sort of
tell us
thing.
how much? How much?
Well, it was
6 figures?
more than 6 figures.
Did you drop out? Man, I'm on my way to. I'm going to pick out my next beach house. No, I'm sorry.
Cornelius is being naughty with
I'm
you guys.
kidding. I'm
Boat.
kidding.
No.
Boat. That's right.
So if you
Did you take the money?
no, oh my gosh, you guys are naughty.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue, please.
So yeah, so what happens is you have to really look at the donors on some of these campaigns. Number one, and if you look at my opponent's donors, I'm not going to invoke his name because he's not worth my time to do that. If you look at my opponent's donors, you will see who he is beholden to. And many times for even some of the groups that are, my party, et cetera, will say, you have to sign this oath to be this and that on our party, and we'll endorse you, and all of these things about endorsements. First of all, I don't seek endorsements. I have my own endorsements because people talk to me, and they're the citizens that I will serve.
Long money.
Those are my endorsers.
That's
the
right.
people who vote are my endorsers. I will never swear to or sign an oath except for my oath to office, and at that time, it's not to a person, a subset, or anything. It is to the people that I will serve, period. So yes, there are people out there who try to get you to drop out or threaten you and threaten people's businesses who want to donate to you. They threaten them if they don't take your signs down off of their property, they're not going to use your business. This is a small community in the big world of business, and I don't want anyone to be harmed by that. But I do want everybody to, you've got to vote. You've got to vote your heart.
So you're saying, though, for the people watching and listening, you're saying that there are groups that seek to profit on the backs of our citizens.
Yep.
So that's what you're saying.
Yep.
Are you going to name drop or no? It's your choice.
I'm not going to name drop because
Okay.
I don't need to.
Fair enough. So now you speak of large donors, right?
Right.
And you are, from what I hear, you're saying that that's negative. But some people may argue an opposite side. Someone who is popular, well-liked, receives more funding from groups. So what would you say to someone who says that you're just wrong? We like said person, and we're giving that person money, and you're kind of making this thing a conspiracy that's really not there. What would you say if someone said that to you?
I would say the only way that I'm ever going to prove that fact is once I'm in office and you see how I perform. And that's really true, the metrics of my performance. But the thing about, people giving large donations, you got to follow the money. And I think if you talk to the people on the streets right now, go right now outside, talk to 10 people and see how they feel about that. And they will be pretty much in concert with that issue. If somebody wants to donate to my campaign, hey, you can go on my Dianna4FL.com. I would love to have donations. I will tell you, though, don't ask me to repay the favor, because if it's not in the best interest of the people, you will get a lovely thank you letter and a very nice, I appreciate you very, very much, but it's going to be for the greater good of the community. I will never back down or bow down. And what's happening right now, Cornelius, that you were asking me about, if you follow these large properties around, they're suddenly having these massive developments put on them where they strip the land and all the other things they're doing that is not intelligent design, which we were talking about before, and dump a ton of traffic into a 2-lane road and clog up all of the infrastructure before there's infrastructure to support it, then you will start to begin to understand, because those were many family-owned properties that are now, they're profiting quite a bit, but those families have also moved out of town, many of them.
And we actually had somebody here not too long ago with the nature preserve.
Right.
Right?
But last thing I'll say about this, and then you guys can chime in if you want. Mm-hmm. So, but I think I read somewhere, like, we are still like, I don't remember the number, maybe like 1 million or so houses short to actually house the people in this country. It's some weird number like that. Don't quote me on the exact number.
Country or county?
Country.
Gosh, not county.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
1 million? Really?
Wow.
Come on. Hey, use that thing besides a hat rack, okay? Come on now. So,
My head.
when you're right, when you speak about, this development and infrastructure after, pardon me, but that's the way it's always been.
Doesn't mean
That's
it's always right.
no.
it's not.
And I didn't say that, right?
I'm just throwing it out.
But I do have to say, pardon me. I mean, we know. I think we all agree that that's common sense, and most people would. But that's not how this works. And so, why do you think sharing this message of infrastructure first before development, like why do you think that would resonate when we all know that's probably the right thing to do, but it's never been done?
Well, I'm very sorry that it's never been done with true intelligent design. That's just a really tough thing. I think we also need to get some of our people into, and I'm not saying anything against anyone who's currently in planning or development, and I have nothing against builders. My uncle was a phenomenal builder up north, very well-established builder. These are great crafts, great jobs, you know, all of the good things you want to say about it. I am not against anybody at all. I'm talking about there is a way to go about it. If you're going to build a kingdom, make sure that your kingdom's going to last when the big bad storms and all the other things come. Let's put it together right. Some of the developments that are going up, if you look, there's so many housing defects that you can see already starting, and they're not even a year or 2 years old. I'm really concerned about some of the things that are going to happen here, like they did in South Florida. And the other places where I've been a frontline disaster responder to some of these horrific events that have occurred to find, and my job was to go in front, one of the first in, with our EMS partners to get in there and decide what type of support we needed to bring in, the big rigs, the USAR teams, et cetera, so that we could help those people immediately to sustain so they can move forward. The one thing I really love too, I just got to add this to the whole disaster thing. I heard somebody say recently, oh, you really don't need to worry about it because we don't have it in our budget, because it's really lacking in the budget, people, is don't worry, FEMA will come in and take care of that. FEMA does not come in and rebuild your house. FEMA comes in and gives you plastic tarps, and it will help in some cases a small portion of your home to shore it up, but that is not to fix your home. So you cannot depend on state and federal governments to fix your stuff.
If Florida's going to change the state flag to the blue tarp, right?
You probably. Hey, I responded to 4 hurricanes in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you,
Oh,
ma'am.
yeah.
But
No,
yes,
what was
no.
that, 2004?
Yes.
Around Charlie?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
yeah.
bad.
That was a rough year.
We moved up here 2 weeks to the day when the storm hit South Florida and wiped out Homestead and all of that. We moved up here. We had lived in Boca Raton at the
like
time.
92?
Yeah, 90.
Andrew?
Yes, Andrew. So, you know, this is really concerning that we're not really looking at safe structures that are sustainable. And I really mean that. I mean, we could do a whole show just on that, but we've got to look at what's right for the people. And I understand the million homes, Cornelius, I really do. My youngest daughter, you know, the homes right now are just priced outside of her ability to buy a home.
Right,
And
right.
it breaks my heart.
Right.
And she has a very good job. I mean, she's a professional, has a very good job. It just,
Right.
it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I'm all into affordable housing that is sustainable, that is, you know, long-term. The first house Wayne and I ever bought was $63,000 in Boca Raton. Can you imagine?
Man.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
less than most people
Don't I
pay for a
wish.
car these days.
No kidding.
So, yes, it breaks my heart what's going on, and our young people are really being priced out. And that, to own a home, to have the ability to buy a home, is also part of your future wealth, because that is part of your, you know, when you get older, you sell it, you have more money than you thought you would, and all that good stuff. But
Maybe an unfair question.
Nothing's unfair, Rob.
No. It has nothing to do with your campaign. Just curious about your thoughts on.
And then we'll
the
wrap it up.
Dude out in Lake County, Bowen Koo. Are we aware of him?
No.
No, he's a Chinese American naturalized citizen running for state Senate. And he's suing the Republican Senate campaign commission for $1 million because they are putting out ads that are saying that his campaign is backed by the Chinese government and all this other stuff. And he's stood on the courthouse steps now for over 24 hours in protest.
good for him.
So wait, what was the question?
Wanted to know her thoughts
Her
on
thoughts.
this, brother.
Come on, keep up, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, she said good for him.
Fighting
so.
the powers
no,
that be.
not good
That's
for him.
what-
I'm like seeing this guy standing up there protesting. You know, I think part of the thing that's going to have some people sway on the answers, because you kind of said, you know, he's Chinese national and he's now a citizen and so forth, can give them a different opinion of his right to run for office after he's been here, he's duly achieved his citizenship, et cetera. I'm not against people obtaining their citizenship right on. That's where we all came from, you know, one way or the other. So I do know, though, that there is a lot. We were talking about campaign finance before, too, so this kind of wraps this together for you guys.
Sure.
When you talked about, like, the big donors and stuff, there's a lot of super secret PACs behind candidates, and they'll throw in $500,000, $1 million to somebody. And again, these positions don't pay that kind of money. Mm-hmm. You're better off working in private companies than you are being a public servant. And they're coming behind and putting a lot of money in, promising a lot of money, because they want their puppet candidate to get that seat. And that's what's happening, unfortunately, in a lot of these things. That's why when you talked to me before about, like, taking donations, et cetera, small donations from the people, great. But when I'm offered behind the scenes that they're going to pay for my campaign, that's a no. And this is some of the things that this guy, I think, is protesting as well, because they're putting money forward to eliminate him by a smear campaign. I don't know if you guys saw the last Booth campaign where, and this is where I am invoking the last name, sorry about that, guys, but they they sent out something like, I don't know if it was 12 or 15 lovely flyers, bigger than my little pretty fans, that was all over. Somebody's telling me 8 or 9, that was all over the place. They were the most horrific smear campaign of the other candidate. Whether I like the other candidate or not, I have nothing against the other gentleman. It was the most horrific thing. This is one of the things that all the people talk about. We're actually thinking it would be so fun to have a smear campaign from that entity that will have these great flyers come out of all these lies and psychotic pictures on them, that the citizens should collect them all and then go back to that campaign and demand that they do a drawing for like a 3-day cruise just for having to get the mental health issues of getting all these ridiculous flyers put out there. But that's what happens in politics. There's all this smear stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And I personally would really love to see some of the flyers about me and tell me what bad stuff I've done. I've lived a very boring life. I've worked since I've been 15. I'd like to know where I had fun. So come on, bring it on.
Marcos ran a smear campaign against himself.
What did you? You can't say nothing bad about my friend Marcos. I'm sorry, I don't believe you all. I've known him for a long
there's no
time.
you all.
There are plenty of things to smear
Can I
me
ask a
on.
question? Hold on. Hey, yo,
I just
everybody
won't
watching,
deny any of them.
everybody watching and listening. Can I ask a question? Why am I always being put in the same boat? Well, I love you, but why am I always put in the same? I don't even say a word. He says it, and it's why?
Because you laugh along with him, that's why.
Because it's funny. I didn't say I believe.
Deanna,
it,
thank you so much for coming out
Yes.
and speaking with us.
This is terrible. Going to HR.
Please, do you have a social media, website, anything you'd like to plug before we end the show?
Yes, I do. Actually, if you guys could please go to Dianna, DIANNA, the number 4FL.com, and you'll see my website. I have a letter on there to the constituency. My phone number's on there. You're welcome to call me and ask me the hard questions. I will always answer you with truth and transparency. If I don't know, I will let you know. I will find out. If it's not in my role as a commissioner, I will help you to get the resource so that you can ask the right question to the right person. I will not answer for, another level of government that is not what my seat will be. And I really hope you vote Dianna Liebnitzky for Florida, Osceola County Commissioner, District 5, and you've got to vote in August or you won't have a second chance. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I love your questions, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as always, make sure you follow us on Facebook at The Barcast, on X at The Real
Now
Barcast.
they can see you do that.
They can
So
see me do
it's-
that, yes.
yeah.
So I have to
Now
do
it
the
makes
whole-
sense now.
Before, it was just weird, just me doing that
It
for no
was
reason.
really weird.
Very.
At The Real Barcast, join the Patreon. Our patrons are the individuals that allow us to grow and continue to get better and do more.
Thank y'all.
The more you donate, the more you support the show.
Absolutely.
The more equipment, the more microphones. We can possibly have a whole debate and actually have a microphone for Ricky.
Got Cornelius's shoes.
And let's debate, baby.
Yeah, Ricky, if you ever want to come down and actually do a debate, we will figure out what we got to do to have an
Facts.
actual debate.
Facts.
And with that, we will see you guys later. Goodbye.
Peace.